This is the Stewie 18, or the Nike Lebron 18 Low Stewie Griffin, and this is the Stewie 6, an absolutely legendary shoe, the Nike Lebron 6 Stewie Griffin from 12 years ago. That is an absolutely monster shoe. I think I'm right in saying it's called a player exclusive. I don't know how many there are out there in the world, and it's a huge shoe for anybody interested in their sneakers and like the history of sneakers and those grails that are hard to get. But it's a massive shoe if you've got anything to do with the butter movement, which I do have a little thing to do with it. And a lot of you guys out there are actually butter guys, and you don't need me to introduce the Stewie 6's shoe butter, the godfather of all things sneakers. Has about 6 pairs of the Stewie 6's. And they're absolutely incredible shoes, amazing shoes, and they're absolutely one of his personal favorites. So when I saw these guys come along, these 18 lows, and they just, not just because of the fact they say Stewie Griffin on the side, they're an actual Family Guy shoe, but also because it's a very, very close matchup to those original Stewie 6's. I was like, you know what, that's a shoe I just have to get in with, get in for the channel. It's just a great looking shoe, and it's a great looking mashup to that classic 6 from 12 years ago. So that's why we're here today with this particular shoe. Now, the word on the street is that these guys are dropping on September the 3rd. Now, my sneakers app here in Tokyo, Japan has sneakers probably up to round about September 3rd or 4th, and I haven't seen these guys on there. I did see them on Sneaker News, and that was the first place I saw them. It was on the front page of Sneaker News, like the latest news, as opposed to being in the sort of upcoming releases, sort of release calendar page. I don't know if it's on the release calendar page, I didn't look, but as soon as I saw them, it's just like, yes, that's the shoe, especially with that whole butter movement mashup going on in there. So, but when it comes to LeBron 18 lows, I find it hard to be positive, let's put it that way, which is exactly the same thing I said for a whole year of LeBron 17 lows. Loved the LeBron 17 high. I think it's one of the most iconic sneakers of all time. But the lows, they just, I don't know, they seem like a sort of, I don't know, like an unwanted uncle at the wedding. And these, the lows, the silhouette itself, it just doesn't really do much for me, whereas the highs for LeBron usually, sometimes not great, but usually the highs at the LeBron line are absolutely fire basketball shoes. So when the lows are not so, gripping, it's kind of surprising for me that they don't put a bit more effort into those lows. But then they've gone ahead and put this signature classic colorway on the lows for some reason. Don't know why they didn't go ahead and put it on the highs. Maybe it fits better with these lows. Maybe the detailing about Stewie Griffin and Family Guy that you saw on those 6's slides across the lows a lot more easier than it would across the regular sort of LeBron 18. So who knows the reasoning behind it, but bottom line, first time saw this shoe, definitely doing that, bringing it to the channel. So I'm going to take you through it little by little and give you some of the detailing on there that's really important to sort of set this shoe apart from your standard LeBron 18 lows, and of course the main hits on it. And that comparison back to those, those Stewie 6's, so you can see the comparison between the two and be able to sort of spot the links and spot the differences. So the first place we want to go is we're going to go zooming in on the toe box. So we'll be zoomed in on the Stewie 6 toe box there, and the big features are a massive yellow panel surrounded by the red kind of toe box, and then the yellow circle in there. And all of this is supposed to ring true to Stewie Griffin and his choice of wardrobe, shall we say, and it does truly do that. And if we come across to today's shoe, very, very similar in its construction and design. You've got that yellow huge panel on the front with the red quarter line and the yellow disc right in the middle of it, but additionally you've got a bit more blue in here than you normally than you used to have or originally had on the Stewie 6's. So if you look at the bottom sort of segment of the toe box on these Stewie 18s, you can see an extra bit of blue in there. So blue is probably the thing that comes through more on these 18 lows than did on the original 6's. So that's a look at the front half of the shoe, and there is a little secret detail in there. I don't know if it's secret, but it's a hidden kind of less well-known detail. It's easiest seen in this picture here, and what I'm talking about is at the bottom of the lacing system there's a little sort of flap of leather that's got a cut. It's like a silhouette. There's something being cut out of the middle of it. If you look real close, you'll see it's the LJ LeBron James crown insignia at the bottom of the lacing system, which is a great little detail on these shoes. Now back to the middle of the shoe, and you're focused in on that little swoosh there. But the thing that I really want to take away from this shoe is that kind of animated comic colorway feel. The actual design and graphics have that animation kind of cartoony feel about them, which is great because it is tying it up to the cartoon Family Guy, and you can see that very much on the lateral side here where the swoosh there, and then above that the kind of jagged edge of the lacing system, the extra yellow panel at the top of the eyelets on there. So a lot of little details that make this a very much sort of animated shoe, and that comes really to the biggest point if we look down from above into the insole and you see the LJ crown again on the inside. A little hard to see when you do it like this, but as I've said many times in my videos in recent days, they've started actually taking the insoles out and making it easier for us to see pictures like this, and you can see that LJ on there. It's got that kind of classic animated feel about it, again going back to the Family Guy series. So a major design detail in terms of the tie up to the animation and the Family Guy situation there. And since we go back to looking down from above with the insoles actually in the shoe and then drop a bit lower than that onto the tongues, and you get an idea of what's going on there with these gold tongues. Now those, the original sixes, if we come back to them, they had a lot of hidden details on there. I think there were ray guns hidden in there. I think there might have been an eye behind one of the tongues and things like that. I'm not seeing those details on these shoes. If you take the 6s and the 18s and put them side by side, the big crossover details in the colorway are there, but the sort of secret hidden details within the 6s I don't think are being brought across to the 18, but that makes sense because those 6s were a sort of player exclusive, very rare shoe. I think they might be friends and family more than a player exclusive, but a very difficult shoe to get your hands on and very uniquely designed. Another major point in the shoe is the outsole. So let's flip those 18s upside down, have a look at the outsole, and what you'll see is that the front end of the shoe has a sort of beige feel in the center part of the outsole, and wrapping around the edge on that is white, and then the back half of the shoe, it's all black, and right in the middle of those three colors really is a red sort of stamp on there for the LeBron James line to give that outsole a cracking kind of feel to it. I kind of feel like they could have done a bit more with the animation, the cartoon tie up in the outsole, but it is what it is. And then I think round to the heels is probably a good way to finish this one up. Just have a look at the heel on these guys, and you see the kind of detailing on the back there and the branding, again that LJ crown to sort of finish things off. So back out looking at the whole shoe and then comparing it back to those 6s, have a few seconds to kind of have a gander at that, look at the colours and look at the construction, then back to these 18 lows, and you can see they're very true. The 18 lows are very true to the Stewie 6s from back in 12 years ago, so it would have been like 2009, and it all goes all the way back to LeBron James and his love of Family Guy. That's the whole story here, is that he absolutely loves the TV show that is Family Guy, and then bringing one of the major characters into his shoe is a big deal. Odd time to do it though, if you ask me, LeBron. Because all of the stuff that's coming out of LeBron right now is to do with the Toon Squad, the movie that he's franchised. Can we say that? Because Michael Jordan made it back in 25 years ago, I think it was, and then now here we are with part 2 of that movie franchise with LeBron James at the helm now instead of Michael Jordan. But there's a bunch of shoes coming out with that Toon Squad, tons and tons of shoes. So it's interesting that alongside that they take a completely different character, completely different animation, completely different show, and bring out a signature shoe. You would have thought they would have waited until the Toon Squad sort of hype had died down and then bring out a shoe like this, but maybe they're planning to carry that wave, to sort of ride the wave of the movie and then bring the shoe along with it. But whatever the reason is, it's an absolutely cracking looking shoe, very true to the colours of the original Stewie 6s, it's very true to the design of the original Stewie 6s, and very true to the Family Guy and Stewie Griffin himself. So it's a great looking shoe and a great video. It's really well timed for me to be doing this. We're about a week short of 1,000 consecutive days on YouTube, so we're coming up for one of the biggest milestones in the channel's history, and here we are being able to shout it out to the biggest influence in the channel's history. So it's great to be able to sort of shout out shoe butter. Great to be able to look at a shoe like this and kind of make a historical connection, as well as look at a great shoe in terms of upcoming releases. Like I said, September the 3rd looks to be the drop day. And that's enough for today, so I'm going to wrap this one up, finishing up another video in this charge towards daily content for 1,000 consecutive days. We haven't missed a single day, 993 days, about 7 to go, so fingers crossed we can get that last week in the bag and get to 1,000 consecutive days. But for now, it's time to wrap this one, just finishing another video for the day, and just say the same thing that I say at the end of every single video, which is that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.